Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my lovely co-pilot, Mr. Dom C. Dom, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, Ryan. I'm better than you. That was a very, very unenthusiastic welcome you had there. I mean, we're beaten down 3 weeks into this thing, buddy.
I know, man. It's just the enthusiasm in the intro is how I felt after the game. Like, let's just jump right into it. How we're going into this game. Like, did anyone really expect us to beat the Bucs? There was like the thought that maybe the defensive line could feast a little bit on the offensive line because of the injuries and everything. But like going in, I was like, this is going to be a tall task. I don't know if we're going to be able to score the points to keep up with the Bucs. What were your thoughts heading into the game? And then we'll get into our thoughts about the game itself.
Yeah, I don't know if this is just the way I am, Ryan, but you know, like all week long, I'm like, there's not a chance, no way, you know, can't do it. We're gonna get, you know, shellacked. And then as Sunday comes, I'm like, well, you know, maybe
there's a chance.
Yeah, if this happens and this, you know, so Sunday I said, listen, I said everything's gonna have to work out well. I said you're gonna have to feast on the 3 offensive linemen that they're missing. And you're gonna have to, you know, I said you're gonna have to win the turnover battle. You know, I think if you had those 2 things, you're gonna have a chance. And one of 2 happened to an extent. You know, I thought they feasted very well on the offensive line. You didn't get home for sacks a lot because there was like a 38 holding penalties.
Insane. That was the most holdings I think I've ever seen in a game.
And you know what? Like and I gotta think, and I have no idea if this holds any factual basis or not. But I gotta think that they just told these guys, listen, if you're beat, just grab them. You know, let's figure it out. You know, we'll you know, we'll throw it deep to sauce on 3rd and 39 and get a first down that way.
Dude, it should be every friggin' 3rd and long. If that were me and I like, okay, I know this is going to be an arm punt right now. Let's just see if we can get him getting a little too handsy. Like that felt like a well thought out approach to a
I think that the penalty was a little bit suspect, but yeah, man, I don't know. So I went into Sunday thinking that they had a chance. You know, and I kind of do that to myself most Sundays. But the offense was just, you know, anemic. The offense was anemic, you know, and then Bowles really started confusing the offensive line with all his blitzes, and that's what he does, man. That's what he does. He does that very well, you know. And you know, although I thought Engstrand schemed guys open as I watched back on the all 22, there's guys open, and you know, for the second week in a row, we got a quarterback that's just hesitant to pull the trigger. And hit those open guys. But, you know, you want to see a little bit more from Engstrand, not in terms of his ability to scheme the guys open, but to make those adjustments, right? If they're coming at you hard, you know, 5 and 6 blitzers at a time, like, you know, change something up, you know, throw in a little slip screen, keep them honest, take a deep shot, you know, all that stuff that, you know, can counterbalance, you know, the consistent pressure, you know, because when you block them with 5 guys and they're bringing 6, somebody's coming just about free. So, you know, I want to see that a little bit more. I want to see a little bit more adjustments and really tit for their tat, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. I thought there was, you know, opportunities on offense for us to do stuff. And then, you know, it felt like Tyrod was just trying to be as safe as possible, almost like the don't turn the ball over type of like mentality. Obviously he had the fumble. He had an interception too? The pick 6 he had before halftime. Like, and up until the pick 6, it felt like the game was at least close. Like the Jets were doing just enough to kind of keep it there. Then you get the pick 6, and now I'm thinking like, well, great. Now there's too many points on the board. They're getting the ball back. Like, here we go. This is what's going to happen. And really, through 3 quarters of play, it really didn't feel like the Jets had an opportunity at all. And then the Bucs towards the end start letting the Jets kind of creep back into it. Like, I'll be honest, the 2 touchdowns, one to Garrett and one to Lazard that we got late in the game, my thought process was like, oh, great, garbage time touchdown. Like, cool. I'm not going to put too much into this because they're playing prevent defense. They're just trying to kind of like kill the clock, keep moving. And I mean, to the Jets' credit, they did keep fighting, and they put themselves in a position where at the end of the game, you have an opportunity to get lucky on a play or create a really athletic play that could change the tide of a game, whether it's a fumble recovery, an interception, whatever. And Will McDonald jumps over the line. Like one of the most athletic plays I've ever seen. Great play from Will McDonald. And because we're so inept, we can't even take advantage of all the good luck that you get from from the Bucs allowing us to kind of like hang around that game. And then what is it? 4 plays, 5 plays, whatever, like right down the field, and there it goes.
Yeah. Listen, with just over 2 minutes left and 3 timeouts, did you really I kind of, I was excited as could be when McDonald blocked that punt. Me and my kid and my wife got all excited, but then I looked and I said, yeah, we're not stopping him.
Too much time left.
Baker. There's too much time left.
Dude, how many
should have went down on the one? Should have went down on the one.
I can't tell you how many people told me they're like, there's too much time. There's too much time. Like, we're going to find a way to Jets it up. And I'm just like, and Becca comes in from outside. I'm like, hey, babe, we just I think we're going to accidentally win. After everything
and that's a
we
testament. If we're thinking it's, we can't take the lead because it's too much time, what does that really say about our confidence in our defense?
It's bad.
Right? Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of the confidence in the defense, but it's also... I don't want to say it's 100% that, because I think a lot of it does stem to me as like a PTSD as a Jet fan, but also just like how prolific offenses are. Like it is tougher to stop an offense as a defense, no matter what defense you're going up against and offense you're playing. So like I don't want to throw too much shade that direction, but with 2 minutes left, Baker Mayfield, we watched him do it last week against the what was it, the Chargers? No, the Texans. They played the Texans on Monday night last night. Like, we just watched him do it. What are we doing? Like, and you never want to tell Will McDonald, hey, don't score that touchdown, like go down on the one. But like hindsight, now you're thinking like, okay, well, that wouldn't have been the worst decision if we could punch it in. You and I, we were sitting in the stands last year against Denver with Aaron Rodgers as our damn quarterback, 1st and goal from the 1, and we weren't able to punch it in. So you kind of got to take the points when you can.
Yeah. Listen, I said that kind of facetiously. Like, I didn't expect him to really go down, but it doesn't negate the fact that once he scored and I looked and there was 2 minutes, I kind of figured that they were going to score. I did. Yeah. It's just hard. It's hard to, what you needed to do really is you needed to turn them over, right? You needed to turn them over because they're starting the ball, they're starting at the 35-yard line. In this day and age, you don't have to get that far. McLaughlin already hit like a 55-yarder against us earlier in the day. So he's got to get, they only got to get 40 yards in 2 minutes with 3 timeouts or 40 yards. No,
not
like
even
30 yards. Yeah, like 30 yards. So, and he ends up doing that on one, scramble where we decided not to tackle.
We got a lot of no tackling. I got to look. I didn't look at the missed tackles from yesterday's game, but 2 weeks ago we had, I think it was 10 missed tackles.
16.
16 yesterday?
16.
Ugh. That's gross. I was expecting like an 8, a 12 maybe, a 16. Yikes. Cameron says, the Jets being the Jets. That's the Jets being the Jets. Yes, it is. And yes, Cameron, I am going to do call-ins after 9 o'clock. We'll talk a little bit. I want to hear what everyone's thoughts are on the game. Yeah, so our Jets are 0-3 right now. Any positives you want to take away from the first 3 weeks of the season? Like, I don't want to say just yesterday. Let's encapsulate it through 3 games.
I will give you some. There's not many. There's not many. I think Armand Membu's play so far in 3 games has been, borderline stellar. He's not going to win every rep, and he hasn't won every rep, and that's fine. And there's a couple snafus. He definitely had one just flat out whiffed on a run around his end or into the C gap yesterday. But for the most part, he has been lights out, everything that you hoped for when you draft a lineman in the top 10.
Yeah, very, very pleased with the line overall. I'll keep it on that same side of things. I've been pleasantly surprised with Myers. I don't know how he graded out this past week, but I feel like as far as like AVT going down, Tippmann needed to kick over to guard. Now you've got this guy who's kind of underperformed overall in the course of his NFL career, maybe, or maybe just would be deemed as the weak link on our offensive line either way. I thought he's played, surprisingly well, and maybe, you have something there at the end of the year, at least as like a stopgap until you fill it, longer term. So pretty
Josh
happy with
Myers, if you care to engage in PFF scores, Josh Myers right now is the 10th overall rated center.
It's not. It's probably a little deceiving because, like you said, the PFF scores are always sort of like meh.
Yeah, you just don't know how they're. That's my whole thing with PFF is I don't know how they come about their scores. There's no specific way that you can kind of analyze their algorithm. Everything is kind of just objective.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a handful of people watching a game and being like, okay, what did you think? Good play, bad play. For like each individual player, you're having 11 guys watch the game at the same time to now gauge everything, and then the next day all the things are out. Like it's a little surprising.
Tyler, here's to talk about the center. Tyler Linderbaum is the number 1 overall ranked center on PFF with an 80.2 score. He currently has a 27.6 score in pass blocking and a 90.5 in run blocking. So
I guess they were weighing it very heavily on the run blocking.
I don't know, because the number 2 guy, the Miami center, has a 48.6 in pass block and a 91.6 in run block. So he's higher in both, but he's number 2. So I don't know. I don't know. I just, I said it just because it's a means of, trying to gauge where he kind of falls in the big picture. He's ahead of Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, and look, I feel like PFF is useful in the sense that like it's just another data point to look at. It shouldn't be gospel.
Correct.
It shouldn't be like, this is the only thing. It's terrible or it's great or whatever. But within the context of, okay, what's the contract? What's the expectations? Where are they again amongst their peers? Like that sort of stuff I think is super helpful. And to me, I thought Myers has been a little bit of a pleasant surprise, all things considered, in a season for the Jets. It hasn't really been that great to begin with. So I'll go back to you. I've got one more good spot on my mind, but I'll let you throw yours.
I've got kind of 2.
Okay.
But one. I'll go with this one. I'll say one. I've been happy with the what we seen the scheme in Tanner Engstrom. I think he's doing some stuff that makes a lot of sense. He's scheming guys open. It's not with the exception of Buffalo, who kind of keyed in on something and knew exactly when we were going to run, and they run blitzed, the shit out of us. But he's been a little bit of a little unpredictable. He passes when you expect him to run. He runs when you expect him to pass. I don't know if he's calling the 4th down plays, but that's got to change. And like I said, to the extent is I'd like to, it hasn't been perfect. I'd like to see him kind of counteract or counterbalance, some of those in-game decisions a little bit better. But, as a whole, I think the first 25 plays that are scripted out make sense, and I like what he's doing. He's getting guys open. We just haven't had the horses, at the helm at the quarterback position to get it done.
Yeah, and I'm going to stay on the offensive side of the ball. And Arian Smith, I've been pleasantly surprised with what we've gotten out of him so far. It's not obviously nothing, groundbreaking or anything, but he played a lot of snaps. Yesterday we ran 3 wide receiver sets for like a lot of the game with Tyrod back there, and I forget the exact number. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. The amount of snaps he played, I thought was impressive for where I think a lot of people thought we may be at this time. Did I see it? Oh, I have no idea where it was. I think Samini posted it. He always has the snap counts. So On offense, all the offensive linemen played every play. Garrett Wilson played 69. Tyrod Taylor played 69. The next closest person that didn't play 100% of the snaps is Arian Smith at 78% of the snaps. He had 54 total. That comes in above Mason Taylor, above Tyler Johnson, above Breece Hall. So they're utilizing him, at least currently. So the more I could see out of him, the better, I think. I'd like to... he wouldn't... Like, his draft stock wouldn't prevent me from going like, hey, we need a wide receiver too. You know, if one became available in free agency or the draft or something along those lines, I'd still probably do it. But I think from a complementary standpoint, what he provides from a skill set has been pretty encouraging. He did have the one, was it illegal formation maybe, when he lined up over the tackle, and Aaron Glenn kind of went at him for that. But overall, I feel like I've been pretty satisfied with Smith so far.
He hasn't done much, you know. I will add one more actually, because I think it's justified. I think Quinnen Williams has been great. You know, Quinnen Williams is probably the only shining star, if you will, on the defensive side of the ball. He's been phenomenal. You know, like, he's a dog. You know, he you know that you could just put him there and he's gonna produce one way or another. You know, probably would have had 4 or 5 sacks yesterday if he wasn't held so goddamn much. You know, but in the face of Baker Mayfield all the time, and that seems to be the story of the first 3 games, is that you know, Quinnen's doing his job and the other guys really need to step up on the defensive side of the ball. You know, so I'm not here for any of the you know, Quinnen Williams ain't worth the money kind of banter. I think he's absolutely, you know, a dog. You know, and you got Quinnen and Quincy, who I think play, you know, game in, game out. You know, usually very, very positively. You know, you can tell that they're playing, and then their other guys are just like, meh. You know, Quinnen deserves his flowers.
Yeah, I've thought Quinnen's played well this year. Sauce, I feel like he's been like disruptive and he's been like in the back pocket. He's obviously gotten flagged a few times. I think he's got probably 3 or 4 on the season already. And then there's the side of things. It's like, all right, well, you know, you got to start causing some turnovers too. I'd like to see, you know, more of that across the board, not just, you know, only on Sauce, but, and of course, you know, right down at the line, right at the goal line, they're like, oh, you know, Mike Evans. Yeah, let's put Stevens on him. We're gonna have Sauce on Evans like nearly all day, and then you see Stevens go over there, and it's like, oh, that's where the ball's going. Boop, quick little slant. Now it's a touchdown. Bugs the heck out of me, because my gut feeling when I see something like that is like, okay, you clearly know your best player is not currently covering their best player that they would go to. Like, are you doing that on purpose to, like, if you're gonna give up something, it's not against Sauce like that? Like, it's a pessimistic thing for me. And it's like, you know, Igbukah is absolutely deserving of being covered by Sauce, you know, every which way. But it just felt like, you know, I don't know. They switch it right when they get into scoring position to, I don't know. Was that weird to think that way? Am I a bad person for thinking that way?
No, you're not a bad person thinking that way.
Oh, thank you.
You know, to that, you did make mention of something though, right? Okay. That touchdown to Mike Evans on that slant, where you have Stevens on him, you know, they had less than 4 yards. Like, you can put Patrick Peterson on him. You can put Dion on him, and there's still a good chance that Mike Evans is going to score on that. So I'm not here standing for Brandon Stevens. I'm not, but I think you got to pay, you know, some sort of respect. Like, that's a difficult task, whoever it is. It could have been Sauce, it could have been Patrick Peterson, it could have been you. And, you know, there's a good chance that Mike Evans still scores on that. No inside help, you know, with a guy who's head up or actually shading outside, you know, with a receiver who's 6'4", you know, 220 some odd pounds. Come on, man.
JB in the chat is saying the Bucs moved Evans into the slot. You've got the
Bucs what?
Up,
I'm sorry?
JBS 819 in the chat says Bucs moved Evans into the slot. I could have sworn he was at the top of the screen on the outside. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have missed
on that touchdown.
I thought he was top of the screen, like on the outside, unless they motioned someone that was outside
I'll tell you
across the
right now.
formation. Yeah, let me know,
I got
maybe
it
I'm
up.
misremembering it.
Was it first quarter or second quarter? Can you remind me on that?
Oh man, I would say first quarter, like towards the end of the first, is kind of what I'm thinking. Because was it? Oh no, it could have been beginning of the second. Was it 3-3? Because the Jets were leading 6-3 at one point, so it had to be second quarter. Had to be second quarter.
Had to be second quarter. Okay. I gotta find it. You just keep talking.
He said
look
not
for
on
it.
the touch. He clarified. He said not on the touchdown. He was moved into the slot throughout the game. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, slot's impossible to cover. That's why Michael Carter got his money. It's just a very, very tough position to have to guard against a player that knows which direction they're going to go.
We might have to have a conversation about Michael Carter because I don't know if it's still lingering stuff from the back, but he just has not been very good. For all the hate, for all the hate that we've given Brandon Stevens, Michael Carter's been just as bad, in coverage. At least Brandon Stevens comes up and tackles.
How much of that do you emphasize on the player versus maybe the scheme? Like a lot of people are pretty upset with Wilkes. We've given up 90 some odd points through 3 weeks. Do you think there should be some sort of change or wrinkle or something that we should do on the defensive side that might help us?
Yeah, listen, to me, I was just talking about this with somebody earlier, in a chat, in a text. I mean, this is very Steve Wilkes-like defense. He's usually shown, a lot of sim pressures and mixing things up pre-snap and playing something else post-snap. He hasn't done it yet in 3 games. I'm just wondering if it's, if it's a talent thing. If he just doesn't think he's got the horses to run the defense that he wants run, or the way that he wants to run it. The one thing I will say, we're at a big disadvantage because the Jets line up and the quarterbacks know exactly what formation they're in, and they know how to check to a play that can beat it. If they see us, we're in zone, they're checking to a zone beater. If they see us trailing and we're in man, they're identifying where the blitz is coming and they're going to call the man beater from there. There's no sort of question. And we've had 3 good quarterbacks. We faced Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Baker Mayfield. So the 3 veteran guys who you're not going to fool. But we're not even trying to fool them. That's the thing. So you hope that you see some of that. Like we talked about it that Muji was very frugal this year. I think they had you're still kind of paying back all the sins of Joe Douglas. So he didn't spend a lot of money. There wasn't a lot of money to be spent. And you have 27 expiring contracts on this roster next year. So the team's going to look different, and maybe you get the guys that either AG and Wilkes are comfortable with or that can run their scheme very well, a little better. Because right now, you got to figure out, you got to do something to switch it up. You got to do something because it's just not working. The back 7, for the most part, I think Sauce has been fine. Sauce has been Sauce. You would like a $29 million cornerback to turn the ball over once in a while. You know what I mean? But I'll take him for what he's done. I thought in the limited reps that I've watched so far with Malachi Moore, he was good, although he would have gotten toasted on a kind of bit a little too hard on a play action. They had a sail route where the tight end kind of went to the sideline. He just dropped the ball. He would have got beat there. But, he comes up and he fills the run. He fits the run very well. Tackles good in space. So, I like that. Stevens has been an eyesore. Michael Carter's been an eyesore. Sherwood versus the pass has been really, really bad. I think all the linebackers, when they go base and even Quincy they've been really, really bad, playing the pass. The just doesn't help. When you got 5, and I think Cisco has been awful. I argued with people on Twitter about that today because I said, I just made a comment like it's crazy how bad Michael Clemens and Cisco have been. And, people reach out to me, or at least tweeted back at me. You can't put them in the same context. They're not the same player. Well, they're both pretty bad. Cisco's been pretty bad. So I don't know, man. No.
Yeah, I think
I would move forward. I would move forward with Stevens and Malachi Moore as my safety combo, and AZ and Sauce playing the boundary.
I would like to see that. And I think you're right. I think a lot of it has to do with the horses in the stable. I think this is very much an evaluation year. Like, as much as we have, I think it was last I looked, $20 or $25 million in salary cap space. And we got a bunch, next year. We're going to have about $80 million in salary cap space going into next year. And it's like, well, why don't they spend a little bit of money? Because there's nothing saying you can't give them a league minimum this year and extra money next year to get guys in to fluctuate with the cap. But you and I both talked about this, whether it's trading draft picks away or financial moves for guys on 1-year contracts for this year. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's okay to evaluate your talent for this year, see who works in it, see who doesn't work in your system, and then pay the guys that you want to keep around or allow the guys to walk that you want to have walk, and then use the rest of your money to bring in the guys that you want for your scheme and system. And then at the same time, I've been calling it a soft tank all year, like all off season. And I think that's sort of where we're at. It's like you're not intentionally trying to tank, but because you don't have the horses in the stable and because there's some limitations on both quarterbacks that we have, you're just going to find yourself in these unorthodox kind of situations. And if the quarterback can overcome some of the hurdles that are in place, then you're feeling pretty good about the quarterback. And, who knows, maybe the guy could be something. Who knows? Have we heard anything further about Justin Fields? Like, do we know if he's potentially on track to start versus the Dolphins, or are these, still a no-go?
We haven't heard anything. You probably won't since they're
Wednesday
playing on
Thursday,
Monday.
Probably?
You probably, Wednesday or Thursday. You figure they're going to practice Thursday, Friday, Thursday walkthrough, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or no.
It's probably going to be a Friday walkthrough with a Monday game, I would think. Because wouldn't they travel Saturday?
Sunday?
Travel Sunday?
They'll travel Sunday because it's not, there's no time change.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, travel Sunday, work out lightly in the morning on Monday. So
Jake in the chat. What's up, Jake? Says too many
What's up,
Jet
Jake?
jerseys talking 0-3 football. Yes, dude. Yeah, sucks. You were down in Tampa Bay too. I saw the pictures. It was awesome. There was a bunch of Jet fans down there. You could hear some of the Jet chants from the crowd. Like, they were there. Jet fans represented. Jets forgot to show up.
Yeah. Yep. Usually the case, man. Usually the case in situations like that.
Brutal. Ace of Spades says, do you think the extra bulk has slowed down Sauce? I don't think so. I mean, he looks like he's like in the hip pocket of most of these plays.
He's
like
Sauce is playing like Sauce.
Yeah, He looks good. He's just handsy.
Physical. Yeah, he's a physical cornerback. He likes to get hands on you. That's his thing. And sometimes he's going to get called for it, and sometimes he's not. I don't know if there are always holds. But he's physical. Sauce is the least of our worries on that defense, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not concerned at all. And like some of the plays that were made against him too, like not even just talking the penalties and stuff, are like crazy catches. Was that a Buka that had like the crazy one-hander over top of him? Like,
on good coverage. What are you gonna do?
It's literally the only spot they could have thrown the ball, and it's like just dumb luck that he wound up catching, or skill, or whatever you want to call it. Like it's frustrating. Sauce has been really good. Just maybe not getting the turnovers that I think people want to see out of him. So I guess after the game, we're sitting 0-3. You hear Glenn's presser, and he's almost like more optimistic than I was kind of expecting him to be. It sort of caught me off guard. It's like, oh, well, our guys fought hard, no moral victories. But like this felt very much like he was trying to like ring it as a moral victory, and like I did not feel like we played well at all. And the points we scored at the end felt like they were kind of like, okay, yeah, get some points because we're going to win anyway by like the Bucs. Is that sort of where you felt, or like what was your sort of take on Glenn's presser?
I got to be honest with you. I didn't listen to it. I didn't watch it. Once that score happened, and once the Baker run happened, I kind of tuned out. So, I caught bits and pieces, just people, talking about it. Listen, you're 0-3. We haven't won in 14 years. Jets fans are frustrated. So anything that they do or they don't do is going to be analyzed and criticized. And I think it's fair to criticize, the team when they're for how they've played. They haven't been playing very well. It is what it is. So I haven't really watched or heard what he said.
It wasn't like anything groundbreaking. It was just he was more positive, I felt, than anything else. The one comment that I thought was interesting that I didn't catch earlier on, I guess I felt it, was they asked, like, he only had one sack. Do you think the defensive line should have done better against that offensive line? He's like, well, what do we have? 7 holding calls against us? Like, those would have all been sacks if they didn't hold. I was like, that's a great answer. Great answer.
I did see, maybe I read it or I heard one little situation which I didn't really care for. And I'll explain why. I think he was spot on, but I'll explain why I didn't care for it. Is when, I don't know if it was in this presser or if it was during the week before leading up to this game, where he said, I'm not going to harp on the negative. That's what you guys are here to do in the New York media. I'm always going to talk about the positive.
Yep, that was yesterday's presser.
Yeah, he is. I mean, listen, you got Kaz and you got Samini in there, and they're itching to poke the bear and see, and find something. So stuff like that is just not going to bode well. I'm not saying you have to be buddy with the beat, like Salah tried to do, I think a little too much, but if you just come off, straightforward and abrasive like that, like those guys, Samini's can find something negative in a sun shower and a rainbow, you know what I mean? And a fucking golden retriever puppy. So
he'd be like, it did rain. That's what it'd be. The dog smelt like wet dog. You bastard.
Yeah. So, if you give him that ammunition, I think he's going to take it. And he's going to take it and run. So,
well, we've got a little bit of we'll call it a mini bye. We got an extra day of rest in there. Based on how what we've kind of seen from the Dolphins and everything, and what we've seen from our Jets, how are you feeling heading into the Monday night game? And does our chances of winning matter to you depending on who our quarterback is, or is it sort of similar regardless?
It's surprisingly, I will say, I think we have a better chance if we have a healthy Justin Fields. However, I have zero confidence right now that we have the ability to beat anyone. I know that the schedule gets easier and everyone says that and blah blah blah, but the way we've played the past 2 weeks, if that's all I can draw from, doesn't look good. Miami's offense will mollywop our defense, and right now, pulling from the past 2 games, I don't know if we can. We can play against anybody's defense. I don't know if we can effectively do that. So right now it's not looking too good. Ask me again Sunday morning. I might be, well, maybe, just possibly, so on and so forth. But I bet you, Monday Night Football would love to flip this one and put it at 1:00 on Sunday.
Why don't we flex this out of prime time? So it was funny. I was like in the mindset of, the Jets have all 1:00 games except for whatever their Thursday game is. I know that's like the Patriots. I was like, it's all 1:00. So one of my friends was like, are they playing Monday night? I was like, no, the NFL wouldn't do that. And I was like, never mind. The NFL did do that. We are playing in prime time. This is not good. I don't know if you've taken a peek over at the good old Tankathon yet. Currently, Jets holding the number 1 pick.
Yes.
Our strength of schedule. So there are, was it 6 teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams at 0-3. Jets have the easiest strength of schedule currently. Saints are sitting at number 2. Do you know who they have the Jets taking number 1, and what do you think about it?
I haven't looked at Tankathon,
Who do you think
but
it is?
I'm gonna guess it's probably Lenore Sellers.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure you were going to go that direction, but yeah, it's Sellers right now at number 1.
Yeah, and
Top
the only reason I
quarterback.
guess that
Nussmeier at 8 to the Raiders. Hold on, I'll get you some more in here. Mendoza 15 to the Rams. Allar 21 to the Steelers, and then Mateer number 28 to the Colts.
Wow.
Currently.
Yeah, the only reason I guessed Sellers is because they just came out. Something just came out over the weekend, and they asked all these NFL, executives, who they thought the best quarterback in college football was, and Sellers won. Sellers got like 8 votes, and then these guys got like, Nussmeier got 4, and Allar got 2, and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I guess Sellers.
That makes sense.
I don't necessarily think Sellers is the best quarterback right now. I've heard somebody describe him, and I love the comp. It's, he's what Justin Fields is right now. Yeah.
Oh,
very, very. Huh?
I said I don't love that comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very. But he's what Justin Fields is right now. So not what Justin Fields was when he came in, like, the veteran Justin Fields, which still hasn't shown to be very good. But, he has the ability to elude rushers and avoid tackles and sacks like the best of them. Very, very mobile, strong arm, just not very accurate between the hashes. So, I mean, Justin Fields is a good comp. I don't think he's as athletic. I don't think he's as agile and shifty, but he's big, he's fast, he can run, he can affect the game with his legs. Just not my favorite quarterback. It's not my favorite quarterback. Not my favorite type of quarterback. That's my choice.
I'm excited to see where this college season goes. Like, it sucks that I'm I don't want to say I'm tapped out on the Jets already because we're only 3 games in, but my expectation level coming into the season was very much adjusted. And until week 1, I was very much, just entertain me. And then week 1 happened, and then I got excited. And now the last 2 weeks have happened. I've kind of reset my line of thinking back to, okay, I'm just going to see who develops on the Jets. I want to see the coaching staff sort of make the right decisions. I want to see guys get healthy. And then I'm going to keep an eye on all the quarterbacks that are going on for draft season, because I feel like 26 is the season to kind of be keeping an eye on. And this year shouldn't be so like lose your stack over a loss or a win either way. Just kind of be like, oh, well, you know what? Hey, our guys did it. Or, oh, like this is something we got to clean up. What are your expectations maybe for the rest of the season through 3 weeks versus what they were prior to the season or
Nah, nothing's really changed. I had 0 expectations coming into the season. No, I for one am of the opposite belief of a lot of people. I didn't believe Glenn when he said it. We're here to win now and win games and so on and so forth. Like, to me, that was a little coach speak. You just saw the moves that they made in the offseason and what they were that the hand that they were dealt in terms of dead cap and salary cap and Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. So I knew this was going to be kind of like a gently, let's just dip our toe in the water and get through this year and see what happens. So I said I would hold my coaching staff for a full year. So you hope that you start competing, because we competed yesterday, but we really didn't compete. You know what I mean? Like, the score was very competitive. But the game was very, very lopsided.
Yeah, I feel like if you were to take that screenshot of like, oh wow, the Jets kept it close. This was clearly like a tight fought game. Like, look at the touchdowns that happened at the end, and the same thing you were just saying was the same thing we were saying earlier. It didn't feel like the Jets were in it.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh was a great game. Pittsburgh was a competitive game, and then the last 2 have not been. So. I want to see competitive games, and if they win or they lose, I'm not necessarily all that concerned, because I didn't have any expectation that we were going to break the 14-year drought this year. As much as I want to, I didn't think that we were going to.
See a question here I want to get your thoughts on. Some guy says, do you trust 𝐀𝐟𝐟𝐤𝐤𝐚 to develop a quarterback? Jets are going to draft another one next year. Look, I mean, who knows, right? We're only we're 3 games in to 𝐀𝐟𝐟𝐤𝐚's, offensive coordinator career. We could look at his history and what he's done, but I think the real answer is I have no real idea if he can or can't.
I don't think any of us know. We would said, after the Pittsburgh game, he made Justin Fields look like a viable quarterback, which none of us thought were going to be possible. So yes, based off of that, yes, I think he can develop a quarterback, but who freaking knows? I have no idea.
Yeah, my confidence level stems from like the play calling. Like I'm confident he'll be able to get guys open that if the quarterback develops could get those guys the ball. But yeah, the truth is I just have no idea where this is going to go. We'll have a better feel after 17 games. If we've seen any growth from Justin Fields from where he was previously, maybe you get to see a look at Cook at some point, and you feel a certain way
I
about
hope
that.
not. Let's not.
I very much hope we don't have to see Cook this year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling. Just sort of indifferent. Hurts me.
Like I said, I'm curious to see what happens with what this roster looks like next year. Sad to say, we're 3 weeks into it, and I'm already talking like that. But I think these 3 weeks, just the Jets fans that are sour, and I understand why they're sour, but they've kind of beaten me down. You know what I mean? So I just want to turn the page on it, man. I just want to turn the page on it. And I'm not saying, sunshine and rainbows, everything's gonna be great. I'm not saying that, but like, I don't know, the consistent negativity is has worn on me. So I'm ready to see what this team's gonna look like and find out if this is the staff that's going to lead us to break that streak of playoff less seasons, my friend.
Fingers crossed, dude. Fingers crossed. Dom, anything else you want to say before I eject you from here?
No. Let's get a win Monday night in Miami. Yeah, what are we gonna do? I guess we're not gonna have a show on Monday.
Yeah, let's punt on next week. We'll reconvene the following Monday. And then I'll probably do some sort of show on Sunday just to talk a little ball later at night. I didn't really give that much thought until you just said that. So that was kind of off the cuff here. But yeah, boys and girls, the one, the only, Dom C. Thank you so much. You've been ejected. You're out of here from the cockpit. Mr. Dom C, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Dom over on Twitter. He's got some great takes throughout the course of the games. Definitely worth it. I know a lot of you guys are out there always supporting the Talking Jets crew and all our guys across all the social media platforms. So it always means a lot that you guys tune in and hang out with us. Before we get too far into it, whoops, that is the wrong button that I'm hitting right now. Before we get too far into it, I want to acknowledge the sponsor of the channel, Sleeper. Think you know football? Then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code JetsTalk, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. This was my lineup for yesterday. If you decided to follow that, well, then we all lost. So, sorry. Tyrod Taylor did go over on the passing yards. Garrett Wilson went over on the receiving yards. Mike Evans did get the anytime touchdown, but Mr. Baker Mayfield only threw the 1 touchdown. So I came in just shy of that. I did not win this week with this lineup, unfortunately. But if you want to support the channel, you want to support the sponsor of the channel, certainly means a lot. Head down into the description. Use promo code JetsTalk if you want to play along, have a little bit of fun throughout the course of the season. Let's go to the live chat. I want to talk to you guys a little bit. I'm also going to throw the call-in link on the chat. You guys can call in. I'll kind of bounce back and forth a little bit, talking to the chat, talking to the people that call in. So you guys can leave your comments in there, and we'll talk a little football, see where your heads are at, and have a little fun with this. I did put a poll question in the chat if you did want to vote on that. The Jets ... blew it, or the ... Jets are the same old Jets, and it's pretty damn even right now. Pretty damn even. All right, let's go. Oh, hold on. I can't take this caller yet. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's bring in our first caller. Mr. Andrew. What's up, Andrew? Oh, wrong button. Hold on. Give me a sec. Pause. Boom, Andrew. What's good, dude?
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
I'm hanging in there. How are you feeling about our Jets?
I wanted to show you also, this is Jeremy's necklace right here. I've got it in pieces. I got to put it together and send it to him, but I promised. I didn't have enough to give him one, but I promised him I would send him it, so it's coming.
Dude, honestly, my girls love it. I came home and they're like, Daddy, necklace. So I put them on them. They're having a blast with it. I come downstairs the next morning. They're like, Daddy, where's your necklace? I was like, well, it's in the office. I didn't think to wear it wearing the golf polo and everything. But Andrew, what'd you think of yesterday's game and in general where we're at?
So I actually had a kind of a funny experience with yesterday's game because I went to the Jersey Shore watching the game with my dad and my aunt. And we were watching at the house for a little bit, and we decided to go to a bar at halftime. It's like, all right, well, we may as well get some food. The game's not looking so good at this point. But we get there, and it's full of Eagles fans, and they're all watching the Eagles game. And they were being, nice and obnoxious, of course. But
Philly does.
At the end of the game, I don't know if you saw the Eagles game. They were setting up. The Rams were setting up for a field goal with 3 seconds left, and the Eagles blocked the field goal, ran it back for a touchdown. Place went crazy, and we're like, great. And then literally like a minute or so later, it happened in the Jets game. I was like, no way. we were doing Jets chants in the bar and everything. So it was fun. I mean, of course, yeah, I agree with Dom. I saw the clock and I was like, shit, it's not going to turn out well. But it was a moment of fun. So
you gotta take those little glass half full moments when you can, because they wind up, getting spilt all over you just 2 seconds later. What do you think? What do you make of it?
Yeah, exactly.
We're 3 weeks through at this point. Like, have your thoughts changed since the beginning part of the season?
I mean, I'm right with you. I was shocked the first game. Like, didn't expect us to come out that hot on offense. I mean, defense has been lacking the whole season so far, but I thought this week was a step in the right direction from where we were against Buffalo, which was not in a good place anyway. So, but I know, like Green Bean was saying on one of the Talking Jets shows that, like, during the Buffalo game, you saw the players just give up, and I was happy we didn't see that yesterday, but would have loved to win. But again, yeah, it's like, all right, at least I can see some of the positives there. So I'm not total doom and gloom, but it's still not a great start to the season.
Yeah, no, I feel that. It definitely, it feels like I'm just trying to evaluate the players I think are going to be here next year. Like, does Simpson deserve a contract? Does Arian Smith separate himself as wide receiver 2 throughout the course of the year? How does Justin Fields look? I think is obviously a big question. How does the coaching staff look? I don't know. Just super frustrating. It's irritating to be at this point.
Well, you mentioned coaching staff, and it's like, I don't understand why everyone's hating on Aaron Glenn for doing the dance. I love that he was doing that, because I saw earlier in the game, I forget which player it was, but he got up in his face and screamed at him. And then later in the game was celebrating. It was like, you get all the different emotions that we've been missing for the last, 3 coaching staffs, really. So
it's kind of,
I think it's
that at least
trending positive, but still not in a good place.
Andrew, thank you so much for calling in, dude. Thank you for the necklace. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boom. Now I have all my clocks going because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let me see. Boom. I think this one will probably let me do it multiple times. Let's see. I've got Mike, then Steven, then Cameron, and then I see Nick calling in. Hang tight, buddy. We will get to all your calls. Let's head over to Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, boss. How's it going?
Oh, I'm just having so much fun with this team.
Yeah, same old Jets, right? Like, to say we're not the same old Jets. Stop me if you've heard this one before. They lose on a muffed kick week 1 to lose to the Aaron Rodgers-led Pittsburgh Steelers against their former team after having an offensive game of the history for a team that's dog shit like the Jets. Then week 2, you get your shit kicked back in your asses by Buffalo, so you no-show that game for 4 quarters. And then in game 3, you get all the fucking breaks in the world for the first time in history. Allen Lazard catches a touchdown, and you fucking get a blocked kick for the first time in like 10 years, and you lose. Aaron Glenn, I understand the message of not being the same old Jets, but that sounds like the same old fucking Jets to me. That sounds like the same old Jets. Get mad, Atlas. Get mad. Yeah, tell them what I fucking said. That's the same old Jets. That shit is so fucking annoying. We're not the same old Jets. But don't fucking lose. Win. It's that simple, because the same old Jets do this. We're in a rebuild. We lose games. It's okay because it's a rebuild. We never win. We've been the same old Jets and the same fucking rebuild for 14 years, man. Like, what the fuck do you want from me? This is Jets lose in ridiculous fashion. That's what it is. Stop me. Tell me I'm wrong. Please, go ahead. It's a rebuild year. We're kind of tanking. You're still losing like the fucking Jets. You found 3 new ways to lose, which I've never seen before in 14 years of misery, which is really 28, but I'm being nice.
I look forward to this call every week. Like, your blood pressure's got to be through the fucking roof, but man,
Can you tell me where I'm wrong, though?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. I think it
I was
feels
ready to
very
quit.
same old
I was
Jetsy.
so ready to quit this team.
Dude, I thought I was going to see
you
you all
just can't
season.
go out there and say it's the same old Jets because you pushed the narrative. I was done, dude. I was so done. And then my fiance looked at me and she goes, "I'm gonna be a Bills fan." And that just restarted the whole thing, dude.
No.
She's like, "I'm gonna root for a good team." I was like, "Fuck you." It's
I
war.
hate you. We're getting divorced.
But like
I'm leaving you at
dude,
the altar.
I can't. Dude, it's just like you finally get the breaks that you never get. Allen Lazard did not catch that touchdown, but you got the call. You got it. And Todd Bowles gave you the perfect Todd Bowles game of let me play a prevent defense and you walk all over us in the 4th quarter. And then you still could it's just misery. It's like he understood the assignment.
Let's let the Jets fans get far enough into this and then just crush them down with like 2 minutes left.
It's like I'm trying not to yell, but it's too much fun. But like, honest to God, this team it's the same shit. Like what we do, trade Brees now? Like I don't fucking know. Like this team sucks, dude. Like I'm sorry. There's so much. I know there's hope. Like we have talent. It's gonna show. It takes time. But don't say you're not the same old Jets and then lose in the most ridiculous fashion. And also that game, Buccaneers beat us every single fucking year when we play like that, like every week. Like we play like shit for 3 quarters. Don't think that game was close. It wasn't.
No, yeah, that score ended way closer than it should have been. I didn't think that was a very close game.
If we play them every time, we never beat that team. We never and Brad Stevens, go to safety, get Tony Adams off this team, and get that rookie playing. Because Jesus Christ, I can't watch this guy anymore. Glenn,
Adams didn't play yesterday.
You got it wrong.
So Adams didn't play.
I know, but like
you're talking about Stevens at corner.
Cisco came. Get Cisco a protractor. That dude does not know angles save his fucking life. Get him a protractor. Figure it out. I don't know what to tell you, dude. These guys still can't tackle. Maybe it wasn't Salah. Maybe it was just these guys are just brain dead. Like that's the problem. We just like I don't know what to tell you. Like how do we not know how to tackle? This is basic shit.
Mike, thank you so much for the call.
I'm
ejected. You're out of here from the cockpit. Always fun to talk to Mike. We've got Steven, then Cameron, then Nick, then Wyatt. Hang on the line, guys. I will get to all your calls. Steven, what's up, dude?
That last guy was me after Sunday.
How you feeling about your Packers over there?
The Browns.
That's Browns. It. Way to go. Way to go. You feeling good about yourself?
I'm feeling better today than yesterday, and the worst part is my roommate is a Detroit Lions fan, so every morning when I wake up, I gotta see his stupid Amon jersey.
So did you get to watch any of the Jets game, or are you just like commiserating about your Packers right now?
I watched it. I'm gonna be honest, not a lot, but I did see the block kick.
Mhm.
And then I saw that they lost, and I was like, what?
Yep, that's kind of how it feels.
That just honestly just reminded me of how many times people left Aaron Rodgers with too much time. But
I mean, we are the Jets. Every single time we have an opportunity like that, it feels like we get there's 60 seconds left. Oh, Tom Brady's going to drive down the field. Like, we know it. It's just, oh, Josh Allen, can't leave him with 2 minutes. Like, it's just, I don't know if there's a quarterback in the league.
Maybe next week will be different because Tua sucks.
Tua sucks. But again, I feel like if we left the opposing team, almost regardless of quarterback at this point, with 2 minutes left on the clock, I'm like, well, Jets going to find a way to fuck this up. Like, I just know it's coming. Here it comes. I'm not even going to get upset. Like, when they drove down the field and they kicked the field goal, I was like, par for the course. I get it.
Yep.
Like, this is nothing shocking here. I don't know.
That totally makes sense. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Because the Jets just... They're the Jets. I have no words to explain it.
No, it's a statistical anomaly. Fucking statistical anomaly. We've been so bad for so long and have lost so many different ways. Not even just like bad, but we haven't even gotten the number 1 overall pick for all the sucking that we've done. Like, over the course of the last 20 years, I think the only team that's lost more games than the Jets, I think, is the Browns. I think that's it.
Seem about right.
And you should feel really good about your Packers losing to the Browns too. I want to rub it in your face, because I don't get to rub it in many people's face right now, and I really can't because I'm a Jets fan and I got no wins. But like, at least I know it makes you feel like shit when I tell you that you should have beat the Browns.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. This is a
I'm
bad
gonna
look
have to hear
for
about
Ryan.
that for the entire week. Like, I was so mad on Sunday. I literally, I couldn't explain it. I was like, okay, we missed the kick. All right, kick was blocked. All right, now just don't make the kick. The kick gets made. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Of course. Steven, thank you so much for the call. Ejected from the cockpit. Oh, always fun talking to Steven. I've got Cameron and then Wyatt coming up. Let's go over to Cameron. What's good, dude?
How's it going, man?
It's just another week. You calling in and me just saying, damn it, we lost again. But wash, rinse, repeat. I'll see you here next Tuesday. Ugh.
You know what? At least we can turn to the draft, I guess. I don't know. At this
Right?
point.
Like, that's honestly where I'm pivoting. Like, I get more enjoyment watching these college quarterbacks play in the hopes that they might become a fucking Jet at some point.
That's what I started doing this week. I'm like, I'm just going to start on the college quarterbacks because fuck it. Why not? Excuse my language.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to put faith in this team, and I can see what Aaron Glenn is trying to build. I see the passion he has. I see that the team is trying, but it just seems like we make the same small mistakes. It's like, we can't have penalties. We get penalties. We can't miss tackles. We miss tackles. We got to go out there. We got to block better. We don't block well. It's like, okay, is the team fighting against him? Obviously not, but it just feels like it's always like, I wish I could see small improvements, and I feel like I'm waiting for that next step. And when does it come? Is it a quarterback? Who knows? At least I believe we have the left and the right tackle solved. And I do believe we have a good defense. But our offense is really hit or miss.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few things on the defensive side that I'd like to see sort of cleaned up. Like, people have brought up Stevens, people have brought up Cisco, people have brought up Tony Adams. Like, the secondary feels like it's lacking, or at least the pass coverage feels like it's lacking. On the offensive side of the ball, you don't know what you're getting on a week in, week out basis. It could be 3 and out real quick, and then we're kicking it back. I don't see the physicality from the running game the way we did week 1. Like, I think because we started off so hot week 1, it's made weeks 2 and 3 feel worse. Definitely week 2. Week 2 was terrible, but like like it's hard for me to even say like, oh, well, the Jets kind of hung around and we did, you know, they showed fight. It's like I didn't feel like the Garrett Wilson or the Lazard touchdowns were really like great drives or great plays. It was a prevent defense that just like, oh, you got points. And then without like if Will McDonald doesn't kick that extra point or doesn't block that field goal, we are not having remotely the same conversations.
And they could have easily given him a penalty for that. But for
Leverage,
jumping over
right?
the center, like he was an inch from touching the guy.
As long as they touch him,
it would have been a penalty. Yep. I know, and inches won't matter. But like, I watched this and I'm like, okay, I'm now in the mindset. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should trade Hall. And I know that's not a popular opinion. While he's still got value, because if he continues to play with a medium fire, let's call it, what's that going to do to his trade value as the season goes on? We got to at least
highlight him. Like, I feel like the game plans from now through the trade deadline should be, let's focus on Brees. One, because if we're focusing on Brees, it probably means we're going to be in a pretty good spot to at least win games, which is something I would like to see regardless. And two, if you still keep losing games and you want to try and build his trade value because you know you're not going to re-sign him at the end of the year, if that's where you're at this point, then, you know, make the move. And I won't lose sleep over that. I don't want to see Brees go anywhere. I'd love to see him do well and play well with us and get like a halfway decent contract with us and everything. But at the same time, if someone comes knocking with a reasonable draft pick, I think you probably have to consider it. And I don't think Braylon Allen's looked like that good either.
For him, I would take it.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because like I don't feel like Allen or Davis has necessarily showed us enough to like move off Brees. I think it's more so that the Jets offense is stagnant enough and we're not going to re-sign Brees that it feels like I just don't want to let him walk for nothing. Like it almost feels like the Bryce Huff sort of situation where like,
sure.
Like I just don't want to see him go for nothing. It does. It stings.
Yeah. But Cameron, maybe we'll be happier next week. No, we're against the Dolphins, so maybe we'll be happier.
Squish the fish, brother. Thank you so much for the call, Cameron.
You're out of here.
All right, we're going to go Wyatt, then Nick T, and then Max. So let's go over to Wyatt. Wyatt, how you doing, dude? What's up, brother?
Good, Ryan.
I got you loud and clear.
All right, it's good to see you. Everybody's being negative, rightfully so. I want to bring some positives because somebody's got to do it, and I always try to be positive. I want to point out our offense has been pretty good. Against the Bills, they sucked, but the Bills are a damn solid team. And I think Justin Fields had a really off game. I think if Tyrod's playing in that game, we put up 20 points. I mean, there were people open all over the place. But I just want everybody to look at the start and finish of our schedule from a realistic point of view. Our first 7 games are no joke. The only easy opponent we have in the first 7 games are the Dolphins. And I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to the Dolphins in an away game because it's a division rival in an away game. Dolphins are going to have a massive home field advantage, and that's not an easy thing to overcome with a newer team and a newer coach, right? So if we go 0-7 to start the year, I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, you start with the Steelers led by Mike Tomlin, which I know we all want to talk crap about Rodgers. That team is not looking bad so far. They're 2-1. The Bills, Super Bowl caliber team. The Buccaneers, Super Bowl caliber team. The Cowboys, another playoff caliber team at least, you know. Broncos, playoff caliber team. We might not win a game until we play the Panthers, sorry. But then we play the Panthers, we play the Bengals without Joe Burrow, we play the Browns, we play the Patriots. I think we can win all 4 of those games. Yep. Right? We're probably going to get our butts kicked by the Ravens, and we're probably going to lose to the Falcons. But we can rebound in that home game against the Dolphins. We can beat the Jaguars. We should beat the Saints, and we might be able to beat the Patriots again. That's 9 wins. But it might start with an 0-6.
0-6, 0-7. Like I see where you're saying, and it definitely gets easier on the back half of the schedule. Obviously, Burrow getting knocked out makes that game significantly easier to swallow. If the Jets go 0-7, I just don't want players to like totally check out.
Well, that was my next point. So Aaron Glenn, I think people aren't really focusing on this very much, but in our last game against the Bills, we gave up. When we were playing the Buccaneers, I don't feel like our players gave up at all the entire game. Now my suggestion, if I was talking to our front office and I was saying, hey, this is what we should do if we want to start winning games, I would trade Breece Hall and possibly a pick to get our hands on a decent corner or a decent safety. I think if we got one decent corner or one decent safety, I think we have a much more solid defense. I think that's what we're lacking right now. And I think we could put together some wins against a lot of these teams. But this first half of the schedule is brutal. If we go 1-6 or 0-7, don't be surprised. I mean,
the annoying thing is that like we're 2 plays away from being 2-1. Like we could have beat the Steelers, and like if we just like figured out the little bit of the end yesterday, you wind up sneaking out that win in a game that probably in 2 of the 3 games I didn't feel like we would have deserved a win either way, but I think there's going to be positives we could take away. I think you got to look at it as a season overall and how we're building towards the future. And even just like as an optimistic standpoint, like realize this team's got to figure out what their offense is, what their defense is, the gelling of players, the gelling of coaches and whatnot. The coach is still learning how to do their own jobs. And then the back half of the schedule gets a little bit easier. We're going to get a few wins. Maybe we could be the 2021 Lions.
The brightest bright side that I think I can leave all of our fans with, because I was super negative too after game 2 and at the end of the Buccaneers game. Aaron Glenn got them from not fighting at all against the Bills, like we just looked like a dead team, to against the Buccaneers, which is a better team in the league right now. We looked like we had fight in us. Even when we were losing and even when we didn't have faith, our players were still playing hard. And even when we didn't have that 7-point fumble return, it was a 2-score game. We weren't completely out of it. And I think Aaron Glenn is making the right decisions.
And if you don't have the Tyrod Taylor pick 6 at the end of half, like that game does wind up being much closer than I think it felt after that pick 6. But thank you so much for the call, brother. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Always good to have Wyatt in there. Let's go over to Nick. Nick, how you doing, dude?
What's up, Ryan? How you been, man?
Dude, just another day, another friggin' losing Monday. I don't know. How you feeling on the season so far?
We've all been better.
Seriously.
But so I want to get something off my chest. So I'm a big Glenn supporter. I think he is the guy. I 100%, and I am biased. He is my favorite Jet player of all time. So I do think he is going to be my favorite Jet coach of all time. I'm hoping that that's what happens. So I think the Parcells tree affects him a lot, and he's very much a disciplinarian. I worry that he's going to get too on the extreme side of things because he doesn't give the media anything, which I appreciate to some extent, but also in today's day and age, you have to at least acknowledge some things. But I get what he's getting at. He gets in his press conference, he gets out in front of a lot of things, the negativity, and I appreciate that, especially for like young players like Membu and the things that he's like. He had a great game week 1, and he's going to have a terrible game week. And he basically predicted terrible game week 2, and we saw it. So I think a lot of it is just experience with the game and just let's be patient. And Wyatt made a great point. I couldn't echo this any more perfectly. This team could be 1-6 because of the fact that the schedule. I'm not saying the Buccaneers are not a Super Bowl team. I disagree with him on that. But I think
they could contend. I think they could be a final 4 in the NFC. I think it's going to be Eagles.
I'd say they're a playoff team.
Yeah, that's fair. I would agree. Super Bowl team feels a bit of a stretch right now.
And 3 playoff teams to start the season for a team that could be a 7 to at best. And I said this from the start, fringe 10 playoff win team. It's tough. So I think a lot of what we're seeing is first year, and don't take this the wrong way because I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, you're saying this name," especially after he just recently got fired. But Robert Saleh's first year, we all wanted Ulbrich to be gone. How bad was that defense? And then year 2, it changed over. I'm more confident with the fact that the offense is at least competent under Hagstrand. And that we can sign a cornerback 2, a linebacker, whatever, a safety, whatever else we need. And I do think the defensive line, as mediocre as it has been at points, I think with Phillips and maybe adding a defensive end, and it's not going to be some great veteran pass rusher that's a name that we know, it'll be pretty solid. So I think moving forward, take it with a grain of salt. I think we're in the year 1 of a new regime. So just kind of be patient with that and see how things have progressed, because this offense is head and shoulders more advanced than what we thought it would be, at least at this point, in my opinion. And I know you could say with 𝐅𝐼𝐷, everything else, but he's still a backup quarterback, and they're still moving the ball. So I like where we're at in some aspects. It's just a growing process. So stay positive and let's go with it.
I like it. Evaluation year, coaches. I like Engstrand. I've been saying he's my favorite coach that we signed this offseason. I think it's going to hold true. I'm excited to see where Glenn goes. And fingers crossed he's my favorite Jet coach by the time this is all said and done. Nick, thank you so much for your call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. We're going over to Max. All right, Mad Max. What you got for me?
Can you guys hear me now?
Got you loud and clear.
So the loss, the first 3 quarters we played terrible. Like, let's be honest here, we played terrible. In the fourth quarter we showed some life. I like that the Jets were very competitive in the game. What should we have done better? I think we should have went for 2. After the touchdown on the Lazard touchdown and on the Garrett Wilson, I was screaming at the TV like, why are we not going for 2? Like, it doesn't. I mean, if we went for 2, it would have been a way closer game. We could have went to overtime, but I wasn't mad about it. The thing I was mad about is Glenn was saying, "Oh, this is not the same old Jets." I'm like, really? You should be. If you like, why would you just say that? I understand we play competitive, but we still lost the game. Like, it's same old Jets. Like, we lose. Like, with the penalties, with the heartbreak. Like, penalties are still a big part of the problem. There's actually an interesting stat. There was 8 penalties in the first half. And if you didn't watch the game, everyone thought, it's the Jets. Really, the Buccaneers had like 10 penalties in the first quarter with like the guards moving. And then talking about Wyatt's point, so we're going to win 6. I think we can win the next 2 games. Because right now, the Miami Dolphins look like the worst team in the National Football League. They look horrible. Tua has not been looking good so far. The Dolphins lost 33-8 to the Colts, and then they lost to the Bills, and then they lost to the Patriots. And then I think we can also beat the Cowboys because right now the Cowboys look horrible. Like they allowed 31 points to the Chicago Bears. So I think we'll be like 2-5 by like week 7.
If we're 2-5 by week 7, I think that's a pretty, I don't want to call it optimistic. That's like an annoying thing to have to say right now. But like, I just want to see positive. Like, I want to feel good. Give me a every week feeling like the Steelers game where it's like, we didn't come away with that win, but man, what, the offense moved the ball. The defense played, a little meh. And like, it surprises me. Like, entertain me is really all I'm kind of looking for here. Do you think the Jets have a realistic shot at beating Miami going into, week 1? Into Monday Night Football for this week? I see who they've played, and I do question, like, the Colts may wind up being a pretty good team. Daniel Jones has numbers like Josh Allen. Bills, very good team. Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to gauge exactly where the Dolphins are because my initial thought was like, okay, they're dog shit, but I don't think the Colts are as bad as they were. The Patriots obviously are, I don't think are very good.
Not good.
But it's a division game, so it's sort of like a coin flip anyway. Like, I have no confidence in this team until they prove me wrong on like basically every aspect.
I agree with that because, I think, some of the stuff like Glenn saying in the press conferences, I agree, like it's rubbing the fans in the wrong way. Even I saw on other shows like Jake Asman, like on Jake's show, he was mad. A lot of people are mad because, Glenn said like, oh, we're not the same old Jets. And I could understand, like, we lost in a heartbreaking way. We saw the mental mistakes, the penalties, it's still a big part of the problem. But overall, I just think at least we're having a fight, at least we're pulling up a fight against like playoff team.
We'll take it. Max, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls, I'm going to talk to the chat for a little bit longer. Before I do, I want to acknowledge the other sponsor of the channel, and that is Atlas. There's something about a clean Monday shave that just hits differently. Lately, the razor from House of Atlas has become part of my reset ritual. Got to reset myself every single Monday because of this damn team. Coffee in hand, questioning my Sunday bets and Jets, and trying to forget I benched the guy who dropped 30 in fantasy. Whether you're heading to the office or gearing up for Monday Night Football, it's the perfect way to shake off the losses, clear your head, and start fresh. This thing's no joke. From the team behind Athena Club, the women's razor everyone's obsessed with, they've brought the same care and quality to the men's side of things. Check it out. Look at that green, too. Green's pretty sharp. It also looks sick. honestly one of the best looking razors I've ever owned. Has a nice little weight to it, a little more, a little heavier than you would otherwise expect for a razor. So I like it. Whether you want to go clean shaven like Tom Brady, or just tighten up the lines on your Ryan Fitzpatrick beard, this razor's got you covered. Honestly, we should probably send over one to Patrick Mahomes. That goatee could use a little tune-up. Boys and girls, head over to houseofatlas.com with promo code JetsTalk for 20% off. Plus, House of Atlas is now available at Target stores nationwide. Stop wasting your money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as I do. Thank you so much for sponsoring the stream. All right, let's go through the chat. Let's talk a little bit what you guys, what you thinking up here. Let's see. Where did I saw a few good ones in here. If we zoom out of our team, we notice a lot of teams are playing badly right now. I'm not excusing Jets' play, just saying good portion of teams have left fans wanting. September is the new preseason. Yeah, it usually takes about 3 weeks for teams to kind of iron out all the bugs. Now, the thing that's irritating is the Jets could actually be 2-1 if they just sort of did some stuff the right way. And then you take advantage of that like lack of teams knowing what they're doing at the beginning part of the season. So everyone's still trying to kind of figure it out. But yeah, who knows? Could be a totally different team, 4 weeks from now. Big Al, wait, I thought we were going to be this dominant run team who could not be stopped. Yeah, I think once Fields got knocked out, it had to pivot the game plan a little bit. You're not going to run with Tyrod the same way you would run with Fields. Week 1, obviously, it felt pretty dominant running the ball. Week 2, we really didn't get anything going at all. The Bills just kicked our teeth in, and aside from one long Justin Fields, I think it was a 40-yard run, it was really not good. So would like to see more out of that. I don't like that we went so far away from the run game this past weekend. Would like to see that. The Indiana quarterback is having a good year. We are the 2021 Lions. You're talking about Mendoza from Indiana. I'm excited to watch more of him and just see how these quarterbacks sort of play out. Because I'm in quarterback mode. We were before week 1. Dom and I were talking quarterbacks, and maybe it's preemptive, but got to give me something to like look forward to. We aren't going to be good this year. That automatically means we will not be good next year. With a rookie quarterback and a lousy roster, if everything goes right, we might be good in 2028 or 2029. Look, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the Jets can show that they are halfway decent this year. I think we're going to have some games later on in the season where other teams don't want to face the Jets because we're starting to kind of figure it out. We're a little more built for the cold weather, being that we're going to be a running, bruising kind of team. Hopefully that physicality shows itself towards the back half of the season. Yes, we will likely have a rookie quarterback next year. I don't know if that necessarily means they start the season. It may be a Justin Fields starting the season. Maybe he plays as long as he can until the wheels kind of fall off and the fans start calling for the rookie to play. But I think it's okay not to necessarily have a bad season next year, but to look at the growth and be excited for where this young quarterback could potentially be. Like, my expectations are different. Like, I'm not expecting playoffs this year. If Fields played well and we were rolling into next year and we got Fields coming back, even if we're adding a rookie quarterback to it, then maybe you could consider, playoffs in 2027. It really depends how the rest of the season plays out. That will dictate how I feel with my expectations going into next year. But who knows? Still a lot of football left to play. Andrew talking about Mike saying, I'm not trying to yell. It's just too much fun. One of my favorite calls is Mike every week. Wrong verb. In fairness, Sal's defense could never get off the field in crucial moments. Yeah. I don't know if what we're seeing is more of the same. Like, we're always causing a penalty on 3rd and long. This is the second week in a row. Clemens last week had the hit on Allen late. Sauce this week had the pass interference or holding or whatever he got, which I think was a little ticky-tacky. Honestly, I think both of them could have been a little ticky-tacky. Clemens just should know better. You just can't give him the opportunity to pull the flag. The Sauce one I didn't think was a bad penalty. It was a bad penalty. I don't think it was bad on Sauce. Like, I don't think he was necessarily flagrant on that. Have Mo. We need a legit performance in Miami. Pretty bad for those expecting instant results. Yeah, look, I'm not expecting instant results from this team, but I would like to see some life. I didn't feel like the Buffalo game or even yesterday's game was really like that competitive for the most part. Like, I think the score was closer going, like, before the pick six. The score was close. I still didn't feel great about how the Jets were kind of going about their first half. I was like, okay, well, maybe we sort of get lucky in the second half. Pick six happened. Now I'm like, all right, we're losing for sure. And then the points after that didn't feel great. And then we had the great play from Will McDonald. So, like, these spark plays could just, sort of find you in a position to win, and the Jets just can't seem to take advantage of it. So give me a performance I could at least be happy with from Miami. That's really, really what I'm looking for. I want to win. I don't want to lose to the Fish, but don't give me what I saw the last 2 weeks. Mike says, Tanner did a poor job with his lack of commitment to the run. It felt like we threw early and often with Tyrod, and I don't know if that was, because we just don't like we're team stacking the box enough on us, and they just we're going to give it to Tyrod and be able to throw the ball a little bit. That first drive was fine. Thought they had a really nice first drive. Would have liked to end it in a touchdown instead of 3 points. Tanner, to me, isn't the problem. I think he's closer to the solution than some of the other issues we got going on. You don't just go for two whenever. White says one does not simply go for two. I would say I was not thinking about going for two after the Garrett touchdown. Obviously, it makes sense based on where we were. Was it the Garrett touchdown or was it the Lazard touchdown? Now I'm blanking on it. Whatever it was, it didn't really occur to me at the time to go out and do it. But I do think that hindsight's 2020. Remember when we went for two against the Packers and then everyone was flipping out and losing their shit? This is the opposite. Wilkes' play calling hurt the defense. He has left a lot to be desired. And I don't know how much of it is Wilkes' play calling and how much of it is like players just leaving dudes open and blowing coverages and stuff. Like, there's plenty of guys who are like being run wide open. That makes me feel like it's some players, not necessarily all on Wilkes, but 90 some odd points is got to look like a bad reflection on the defensive coordinator. Chunky says Jets smell worse than broccoli farts. Yeah. Now, offhand, I don't know exactly what a broccoli fart smells like, but I can use my context clues, and based on how the Jets are doing, I would say it smells probably pretty bad. Jets fans can give a masterclass on having patience. No, we can't. We can give a masterclass on not having patience ever. We're ready to fire everyone right now, all the time. We are 3 losses away in a new regime to firing everyone. Take play calling responsibility away from Wilkes. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this bad team lost a game in a bad way. Now I see what you're saying. I'm just salty right now. Mike says Jets fans are irrational to the point of delusion. This is exactly what a 5-win team looks like. Yeah, I mean, I said 6 wins. 6 wins is what I predicted at the beginning part of the season. I felt like that was kind of optimistic because it was throw in a late win versus Buffalo, maybe late in the season when they're resting players, but I am very not optimistic at current. Chunky, Aaron Glenn has the worst press conferences. He is a clown. I just don't want his shtick to get old. I think the more we lose, the less bark or less bite his bark is going to have, and you're going to be a little wary on it. It's gonna, or I shouldn't say wary. You're going to be a little numb, maybe. Just like, hey, win some games, dude. Someone called Jets fans pitiful. We aren't pitiful. We are committed. Our team is pitiful. Facts, Wyatt. Those are facts. The Jet fans we have are legit. No one can question our loyalty. We have liked a team that has been horrible for far too long. Ain't no Jet fan I'm ever going to talk down to. Mike says Mendoza, number 1 quarterback, wide receiver, round 2, round 3, center. We don't have a 3rd round pick currently, I don't think. I believe we're 1, 2, 4, 4. We got a bunch of picks in like rounds 4 through the end. Sorry. Do we have a 3rd round pick? Am I missing on that? I gotta look. So the Jets have a first 2 round picks. We do not have a 3rd round pick. We lost 3rd round pick to Philadelphia for the who's that player? Hassan Reddick trade. Then we've got 1 4th. We've got 1 5th. 1, 2, 3 6ths. And 3 7ths. The 7ths and 6ths are pretty stretched out all over the place. Yeah, 5th, 6th, and 7th round. They're basically all at the end of those rounds, respectively. So really, when you're thinking of our top end picks, it's 1, 2, 4 are kind of the prime picks for the Jets this year because we don't have that 3rd round pick. But I wouldn't hate this. I think a quarterback is obviously my top priority in round 1. When I get to round 2, I'm split somewhere between wide receiver and edge rusher. I think it depends on how free agency looks, the depth of the class in either situation. And then if you wanted to go, let's say you move up into the 3rd to get a center, or you, whatever, your 3rd option is center. I think it could be center for me. It could be guard. I'm pretty open and flexible as far as that goes. I have no idea who I would want at wide receiver right now. And even quarterback, I'm not too sure. I got to watch more tape on all the quarterbacks that are coming out. I would say Sellers is super fun to watch. Nussmeier, while not really super mobile, feels like a really, really good quarterback. I have to watch more of Mendoza. I got to watch more of Matier. I've been keeping my eye on 𝐿𝐼 since last year. I have a buddy who's really big into Penn State football, and he's a huge Jets fan. And he's like, I'll be honest, I don't want 𝐿𝐼. And he's been pretty spot on with the Penn State prospects over the last like 5 to 10 years. So I would, I think if 𝐿𝐼 were good enough, he would be pounding the table for him. But Mendoza is a favorite for a lot of fans. So I'm excited to watch more from him. I think Connor Long, I think, was on the Mendoza train early on, if memory serves correct. Harlan says, head coach Glenn isn't nice to the press. The press hasn't been good to the Jets in quite some time. Yeah, and then there was the whole story of Robert Saleh bringing the... you know what? I shouldn't even say it's a story. I forget where I heard it. If I heard it from Connor Hughes or if I heard it in the background of something else. I think it was from Hughes, though, where there were these weird comments of like, oh, Saleh trying to get everyone in the room, saying, hey, you know, you're part of the team with like the press. Like, it would really help if we talk positively about the team or something to that effect. And it's like, all right, dude, there's going to be some red flags here. Like, if you're expecting the New York media to like fluff you up, you're in the wrong market. We definitely, I don't know. We got to do well for the press to get off our backs. And that's an Aaron Glenn thing first, not a press or media thing. Wyatt, I'd take Nussmeier. He is elevating his team. Mendoza is succeeding on a better team. I've liked Nussmeier since last year, so I do gravitate towards him just at the beginning of this. But again, I have not watched much Mendoza like at all. So I really need to do my due diligence before I speak too confidently one way or the other. Weege says, I get this is tough to watch, but am I wrong to say the negativity from fans this season is killing me? Feels like it's unreal reaction for 3 games. Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, Weege. Same exact boat. Because I think I set my expectations appropriately. I came into the season saying, hey, just entertain me. I understand this is an evaluation year, and that's probably going to make all my post games relatively blah. Like, I may not go viral on any of my stuff, but I'll tell you my damn honest opinion on where I fall. And look, this is a team that I think is not going to win many games. I said 6 wins at the beginning part of the season. We're sitting at 0-3. Still plenty of games left to get 6 games. I think the negativity from fans is partially a PTSD / comfort almost like there's this like soothing and like, hey, let me just bitch about my team all the time because it makes me feel good. And like it's easier to be right about the Jets being wrong than it is to be, critical on where they might be, headed in the right direction. I don't know. I don't blame fans for being negative. I would say fans that are overly negative and like really losing their shit. It's like, dude, did you really expect the Jets were going to be like super good this year? Like our expectations these 2 years are not the same as they were even the last 3 or 4. Like when we had Zach as a young quarterback, year 1, year 2, like the excitement is different because you're seeing the young guy. How is he going to develop? You're looking at it week in and week out. And there's an excitement to that. Then you get Rodgers and you have the Super Bowl expectations each of those last 2 years. This year, very, very different expectation. I completely agree with you. I am not in the same mindset as a lot of other Jet fans that I think is frustrating. Mike says Mendoza has a big arm, very quick at processing defenses, which is a highly underrated tool teams tend to overlook, and has pinpoint accuracy. I will take processing defense and pinpoint accuracy over strong arm. I mean, he's obviously he's got a big arm, but over like athletic gifts. Like if Sellers winds up, Dom scared the shit out of me. He says Sellers is basically what Justin Fields is now, which is not a knock necessarily on Sellers. It's more of like a, hey, he's at the point where Fields is 4 years, 5 years into his career, as opposed to where Sellers is as a junior at South Carolina. So I don't love that comparison, but I will take the quick processing. I will take the pinpoint accuracy. I think that is far, far, far more valuable than just athletic traits overall. Wyatt says mobility is highly overrated. Most important thing in football is IQ and ability to get the ball out fast. Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's not mobile at all. Aaron Rodgers, not really mobile at all. Like, I can shift. Like, shifting around the pocket is important. But if you can get the ball out fast, you could recognize what the defense is going to throw at you. That is far more valuable. Michael Clemens plays in slow motion. I just feel like we as fans severely overrated the talent we think we have, and that's part of the problem. Yeah, we always overdo it. It's like, oh, Robbie Anderson is such this great player. Jordan Jenkins is such a great player. Oh, this, that. Like, there's players year in and year out that we overhype and overpay and want to, like, go to the wrestling mat for. And I don't think we came into this season feeling that way. Like, I would say I had a pretty good feeling on the pulse of this team going into it, saying, okay, evaluation year, what are we going to get out of Fields? Entertain us. And I still think Garrett Wilson is great. I think Sauce is great. I think Quinnen's great. I think Membu and Fashanu are going to be our tackles of the future. I think I'm encouraged by what I've seen so far from Arian Smith. Maybe that's long-term wide receiver 3. Who knows? I don't think he's going to be in a position to be wide receiver 2 necessarily. I think we're still going to try and fill that out. I like Allen and Isaiah Davis behind Brees. I thought Brees bounced back nicely. I think Mason Taylor could have like a pretty nice career. But we're just a young team, and we're in such an evaluation mode. And fans that severely overrate the team and over expect, and the Jets under deliver, it sucks. I've been there before. I think I've just adjusted myself to the correct point. Jets Ward, I'm just happy. The Jets showed fight in the end of that game and did not quit like they did against the Bills. They didn't quit the same way they did against the Bills, but I didn't feel like that game was very competitive in this, like up to the second half. Like it felt like the Browns were kind of able, I keep calling them the Browns, Baker's there. The Buccaneers, they're also wearing orange yesterday. Threw me off, the creamsicle colors. The Jets hung around, and I'll give them credit for it. And they put themselves in a position where I think they could have taken advantage of it, and we just did not. If us fans are going to be negative, save the energy. There's another year of this. Really, really coming out with the fun, Wild Wave. Tony says, 3 QBs have huge arm strength, huge arm talent, and can't process and run through progressions. Mendoza, Green, and Allar. So who would you say? I thought you said you didn't like Nussmeier earlier. Are you where are you on the Tony? Is there a particular quarterback that you're leaning towards? Top quarterback options in the draft are 𝐂𝐼𝐷, Sellers, Nussmeier, Taylor Green, and the QB from Oregon. Nussmeier, yeah, I would say that. I don't know how you don't have Mendoza or why am I blanking on the other name? The kid from Oklahoma. Mateer. I feel like we got to keep an eye on all these guys. Anyone that's kind of hovering around that top 2-round pick in mock drafts, that don't factor in where they're currently going as where they're going to ultimately be, but I feel like that lump sum of quarterback is kind of what you're going to be trying to figure out. And I would like the Jets to win as many games as possible because I think there's a real shot the Jets, one, need to learn how to win, and two, I don't think it's guaranteed that the number one quarterback taken next year is going to be the best quarterback. It very rarely ever works out that way. I think we'll wind up somewhere in that 5 to 10 pick range, realistically. Let's see. Which offensive lineman has the most monumental flatulence? Trying to think if there's any funny way to put this. Fashanu. That's what I would call a Fashanu fart. Simpson. Maybe he goes, dope. Like Homer. Josh Myers. I got nothing funny for Josh Myers. Nothing good with that. Titman. Nothing for that either. Membu. Mempu. This is a stupid conversation. I'm sorry. Jets Ward. Mendoza and Mateer are good, but Mateer gives me Zach Wilson vibes, and Mendoza would be number 6 on my list. Man, I don't want anyone that gives me Zach Wilson vibes. Just scares the shit out of me. Tony, 𝐂𝐼𝐷, Green, Mendoza can process quickly. I see. That's what you're saying. So you were saying, where's your comment? 3 quarterbacks have huge arms. Huge arm strength, huge arm talent, and can process and run progressions quickly. 𝐂𝐼𝐷, Green, Mendoza. Okay, that makes more sense to me because I thought you were a big 𝐂𝐼𝐷 guy for a while there. We'll have to keep watching. The problem with 𝐂𝐼𝐷 is he has no weapons. Warren was his last one. Yeah, look, I want to see Penn State go far in the college football playoffs. I think that would go a long way to see what we're looking at with 𝐂𝐼𝐷. But I'm gonna go watch some football on right now. Boys and girls, head down in the description down below. Support the sponsors of the channel, Sleeper and Atlas. Links in the description down below. Leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. Want to leave any last thoughts? This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.